Ladies and gentlemen, there is a war taking place every single day, a silent battle that most people never talk about, but every single person is fighting. And this war isn't in the outside world. It's not in your job, your relationships, or your circumstances. This war is within. It's happening in your mind. Your thoughts are either building you or breaking you. Your inner voice is either pushing you forward or pulling you down. And the brutal truth? If you don't master your mind will master you. It will trap you in fear, feed you lies, convince you that you're not good enough, smart enough, strong enough. It will sabotage your dreams before you even take the first step. The mind, when left untamed, becomes your greatest enemy. It creates imaginary prisons and throws away the key. But here's the power you've forgotten. You are not your thoughts. You are the master of them. And once you reclaim that power, once you learn how to train and direct your mind, everything changes. You start waking up with purpose. You stop reacting emotionally to every situation. You become focused, clear, and dangerous. Not to others, but to every limitation that once held you back. This isn't about positivity fluff. This is about mental discipline. It's about reprogramming your brain to stop playing victim and start playing victor. It's about destroying the noise of self-doubt and elevating the voice of inner strength. Because if you don't train your mind, society will train it for you. To fear, to follow, to doubt, to settle. But you weren't born to settle. You were born to rise, to lead your life, not be led by random emotions or outdated beliefs. So today I challenge you. Take back control. Don't let your mind tell you who you are. You tell it who you are. Don't let it paralyze you with fear. You program it with power. Because greatness doesn't come from talent. It comes from a mind that refuses to quit. This video, this moment, could be the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you finally learn how to control your thoughts, direct your focus, silence your inner critic, and dominate your own mental battlefield. It won't be easy. It will take time, patience, and discipline. But the rewards, they're beyond imagination. So lean in, because in the next few moments, you're going to discover what most people never do. That the true key to success, peace, and unstoppable strength doesn't lie outside of you. It's right there, between your ears. Master the mind, or be ruled by it. The choice is yours. The silent enemy within, your greatest enemy, is not out there in the world. It's not your competitors. It's not your past. It's not even failure. Your greatest enemy is the voice in your own head that says, you can't. The mind is a powerful weapon, but without control it becomes your prison. It keeps you stuck in loops of doubt, fear, regret, and anxiety. Have you ever wondered why some people never move forward despite having the talent, the resources, the opportunity? It's not because they lack ability. It's because their mind has convinced them that they're not enough, that they'll fail, that it's not worth trying. This inner enemy is silent, but it's relentless. It whispers in the background. It questions your every move. It floods your brain with thoughts like, what if you mess up? What will they think of you? You're not ready. Stay safe. Don't risk it. And over time, these whispers become commands. You start believing them. And once your mind believes something, your actions will follow that belief. That's how people with so much potential become prisoners of fear. That's how dreams die slowly, not from failure, but from mental hesitation. You see, the mind doesn't care about your success. It cares about your safety. It's built to protect you, not to push you. That's why it resists discomfort. That's why it screams when you try to grow. Growth threatens comfort, and your mind is addicted to comfort. But here's the truth. Nothing great is built inside your comfort zone. If you always listen to your mind when it says stay safe, you'll stay small. You'll stay stuck. You'll never find out how strong, how bold, how brilliant you truly are. The first step toward mastery is awareness. You must learn to catch those destructive thoughts as soon as they arise. You must interrupt them, challenge them, question them. Don't let every thought pass through your mind unchecked. Your thoughts are not facts. They're stories your brain creates. And many of those stories are outdated, fear-based lies. The difference between those who win and those who don't is simple. Winners master the voice in their head. Losers obey it. If your mind says, I can't, but your soul knows I must, follow the soul. If your mind says, you're not ready, but your purpose says, it's time, step forward anyway. Because the truth is, your mind will never feel ready. Mastery isn't about waiting for the right feeling. It's about choosing the right mindset in spite of the feeling. You don't get to choose every thought that comes into your head, but you do get to choose which ones you believe. So, starting today, believe the ones that build you, not the ones that break you. You have the power to train your mind, to lead it, to own it. Because if you don't control it, it will always control you. Train the mind like a muscle. Think of your mind like a muscle. If you never train it, it stays weak. It gets lazy. It gives in to pressure. But when you challenge it, when you push it, stretch it, and discipline it, it grows stronger. Just like your body. Here's the problem. Most people train their bodies more than their minds. They'll spend hours in the gym, sculpting their muscles, but they never stop to ask, what shape is my thinking in? Is my mindset powerful or is it passive? Do I dominate my thoughts or do they dominate me? The mind is where everything begins, every decision, every action, every reaction. Your success doesn't start with your habits, it starts with your thoughts. Your failure, that starts in the mind too. So if you want to change your life, stop looking only at the outside. Start working on your inner world. You have to become mentally disciplined, because mental discipline is what carries you through when motivation fades. And believe me, motivation fades, but discipline endures. You build mental discipline the same way you build physical strength: repetition, resistance, and consistency. When your mind says quit and you keep going, that's mental training. When your mind says it's too hard and you respond, do it anyway, that's mental growth. You start small. You begin with the daily moments when your mind tries to take the easy way out, like hitting snooze when the alarm goes off, like procrastinating on something important, like choosing comfort over progress. These tiny choices seem small, but they shape who you become. Because here's the truth. The person who avoids discomfort will always be ruled by it. But the person who walks through discomfort, who embraces it, masters their own mind. And here's something powerful. Your thoughts can be reprogrammed. You don't have to keep believing the same self-defeating stories you've been told or taught. Every time you replace I can't with I will, you're rewriting the script. Every time you say I'm not good enough and then take action anyway, you are taking back your power. But remember, the mind will resist this change. It's like a wild horse at first, untrained, rebellious, stubborn. That's normal. Don't expect instant results. Just like building muscle, rewiring your mind takes time, effort, and patience. And in that process, you'll be tempted to stop. Your old beliefs will scream for attention. Your fears will try to pull you back. Your comfort zone will beg you to settle. But don't you dare listen. Not now. Not when you've come this far. The people who rise in life aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who master their minds and refuse to quit when it gets tough. So ask yourself, do you want to be a slave to your excuses? Or do you want to become the master of your destiny? Because the battle isn't out there. It's in your head. And it's one you must win daily. The power of focus and mental clarity. Your mind is your greatest asset or your greatest liability. And the difference lies in one powerful word: focus. Focus is the ability to direct your mental energy toward one goal, one mission, one purpose, without distraction. But in today's world, distraction is everywhere. Notifications, scrolling, noise, opinions. Your attention is under attack. And the truth is, if you don't control your focus, someone else will. Let that sink in. Every time you give in to distraction, you lose power, you lose time, you lose clarity. And what's worse, you lose momentum. Because momentum isn't just about action, it's about sustained focus. Ask yourself, what am I focusing on today? Are you focused on your dreams or on your doubts? Are you focused on growth or on gossip? Are you focused on your goals or what others are doing? Because where your focus goes, your life flows. A scattered mind leads to a scattered life. But a focused mind, that creates breakthroughs. Here's the reality. Your mind will follow whatever you feed it. Feed it negativity and it will grow fear. Feed it doubt and it will grow anxiety. But feed it discipline, feed it faith, feed it clarity, and it will grow purpose. Focus isn't just about avoiding distractions. It's about being intentional. It's about choosing what matters and ruthlessly cutting out what doesn't. You can't be everything to everyone. You can't do 50 things at once and expect excellence. Mastering the mind means saying no to what doesn't align with your purpose, even when it's tempting. And here's another truth. Your brain craves clarity. When you're unclear, you hesitate, you get overwhelmed, you procrastinate. But when your mind is clear, when your vision is locked in, you move with power. So how do you build focus? Start by creating space for silence. Every day, even if it's just 10 minutes, turn off. F the noise. Sit with your thoughts. Let your mind breathe. Clarity comes in stillness. Write your goals down daily. Repetition locks in direction. Eliminate energy leaks. People, habits, thoughts, anything that drains you mentally must go. Guard your input. Be mindful of what you consume. News, media, conversations. You can't have a positive, focused mind with a toxic environment. And most importantly, take control of your narrative. Stop telling yourself you're too busy, too distracted, too tired. You are in charge. You always have been. Your mind is waiting for direction. It will follow your lead, but only if you lead. Because the harsh truth is this: if you don't train your mind to focus, the world will train it to scatter. And you'll wake up one day wondering where your time went, where your dreams went, where your potential went. But that doesn't have to be your story. You can reclaim your focus. You can sharpen your mind. You can rise above the noise and build a life on clarity, not chaos. Master your focus. Master your future. Emotional mastery. Don't let feelings run the show. One of the greatest battles you'll ever fight is not in the world outside. It's within. It's between how you feel and how you respond. And until you master your emotions, your mind will rule you through chaos, not wisdom. Emotions are powerful, no doubt. But listen closely. Emotions are messengers, not masters. They're meant to guide you, not govern you. You feel fear? That's a signal. Something matters to you. You feel anger? That's a clue. A boundary's been crossed. You feel sadness? That's a message. It's time to reflect or let go. But here's the mistake most people make. They let emotions drive their decisions, control their reactions, and define their identity. And when that happens, your mind becomes a puppet of emotion. You say things you regret. You do things you can't undo. You stay stuck in moods that sabotage your progress. Mastering your mind means learning to observe emotions without becoming them. You are not your anger. You are not your anxiety. You are not your doubt. You are the observer of those states. You have the power to notice, pause, and choose. The moment you realize you can feel something without acting on it, you reclaim your mental throne. Let me say that again. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to feed it. Feeling anxious? Breathe through it. Feeling insecure? Challenge it. Feeling rage? Don't suppress it, but don't unleash it either. Understand it. Convert it. Use it. The most powerful minds in the world aren't cold or emotionless. They just don't let temporary feelings dictate permanent choices. Emotional mastery isn't about avoiding feelings. It's about mastering the art of response. Here are some ways to build that emotional strength. Pause before reacting. That split second can save relationships, decisions, and peace. Label your emotions. Don't just say, I feel bad. Get specific. Is it shame? Is it jealousy? Is it fatigue? Use emotion as fuel. Anger can spark boundaries. Fear can drive preparation. Sadness can unlock compassion. Breathe. Your breath is the anchor of your emotional world. When your breath is calm, your mind begins to calm too. One more thing. Your emotional triggers are your teachers. Every time something or someone triggers you, that's your mind showing you where healing is needed, where growth is possible. Instead of reacting blindly, learn consciously. Because if you don't do the inner work, you'll keep letting old wounds run your mind. But once you start mastering your emotions, your mind becomes a force of clarity. You no longer spiral. You no longer break down over little things. You rise. You respond. You lead. And that's the mark of a true master. Not someone who never feels, but someone who feels deeply and still chooses powerfully. Your mind is yours. But if you let your emotions run the show, you'll never taste true peace. So decide, who's really in charge? Your emotions or your mission? Mental discipline, the daily battle you must win. If you want to master your mind, you must train it like a muscle, daily, deliberately, and with unshakable discipline. Because here's the truth. Your mind doesn't care what you want. It cares what you repeat. And if you don't take control of what you feed it, it will feed you fear, doubt, distraction, and excuses. That's why discipline isn't a punishment. It's a superpower. When you build mental discipline, you become dangerous. You become unshakable. You no longer depend on motivation or mood swings. You operate from commitment. And commitment changes everything. Understand this. Your mind will always take the path of least resistance. It will always whisper, sleep a little longer, scroll a little more, start tomorrow. But discipline? Discipline says, get up. Discipline says, you said you would. Discipline says, do it anyway. Mental discipline is what allows you to show up when no one is watching, to do the hard thing when it's easier to avoid it, to rise again after failure instead of drowning in it. Mastering your mind means mastering your habits. What you do every single day shapes what you think, how you feel, and who you become. Want a sharp, focused, powerful mind? Start with the basics. Wake up with intention. Don't start your day on autopilot. Win your morning, win your mind. Protect your inputs. What you read, watch, and listen to is the diet of your brain. Garbage in, garbage out. Do hard things daily. Discipline grows in discomfort. Take cold showers. Say no to cravings. Train your will. Focus on one thing. Multitasking is mental poison. Laser your attention and you'll multiply your results. Be your own coach. Don't just listen to your mind. Talk back to it. command it, reframe it, lead it. Because here's the hard truth. If you don't discipline your mind, the world will. Distractions will devour your attention. Weak thoughts will hijack your actions. You'll become a slave to your urges instead of a leader of your life. But when you embrace discipline, not just occasionally but as a lifestyle, your mind becomes a weapon. You start to think clearly, act wisely, and move purposefully. You stop waiting to feel like it. You do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. That's what separates those who dream from those who dominate. And it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. One strong decision at a time, one focused hour at a time, one disciplined day at a time. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen the part of your mind that's built for greatness. So remember, mastering your mind starts with mastering your daily decisions. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create the moment with disciplined action. This is your mind. Train it or be ruled by it. Your thoughts are not facts. Break the mental illusion. One of the greatest traps the mind sets for us is this. We believe every thought we think. We assume that just because a thought shows up in our mind, it must be true. But that's a lie, a dangerous illusion. Because the mind is like a projector. It reflects your past, your fears, your environment, and your conditioning. But that doesn't make those thoughts facts. Here's what you need to understand. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. And once you realize that, you regain your power. Just because you think, I'm not good enough, doesn't mean it's true. Just because your mind says, it's too late, doesn't make it a fact. Just because you feel fear, doesn't mean you're incapable. Your mind's job is to protect you, not to elevate you. It wants to keep you safe, not make you successful. That means it will default to familiar patterns, even if they're toxic or limiting. That's why your biggest breakthroughs will come when you challenge the voice in your head. Start questioning your thoughts. When your mind says, I'll never succeed, ask, says who? What evidence do I have for that? When it whispers, people will judge me, ask, and what if they do? Will I let that stop me from growing? When it screams, I can't handle this, respond with power. I've handled worse. I'm still standing. I'm not done yet. You see, your life changes when you stop being a slave to thought and become a master of interpretation. You may not control what thoughts arise, but you do control what you do with them. You can let your thoughts cage you, or you can let them fuel your fight. This is where mental mastery is born, in that moment when you decide to interrupt the automatic thought and insert conscious choice. It's not about silencing the mind, it's about leading it, guiding it, directing it like a commander leads an army. Train yourself to become aware of your thought patterns. Are they building you or breaking you? Are they moving you forward or keeping you stuck? Are they speaking fear or faith? Because once you see the thought clearly, you can replace it deliberately. Replace I can't with I'm capable. Replace what if I fail with what if I fly. Replace I don't know how with I will learn. This is the ultimate power, the ability to rewrite your inner narrative, because your reality will always follow the story you tell yourself. So stop letting every thought dictate your identity. Filter your thoughts, refine them, own them, or they will own you. And never forget, a mastered mind doesn't mean you never have negative thoughts. It means you no longer believe them. It means you no longer let them lead. You lead, you choose, you create. Master the mind or be ruled by it. Discipline over emotion, the true power of a mastered mind. A mastered mind isn't always motivated. A mastered mind is disciplined. Because motivation fades, emotions fluctuate, but discipline stands firm. Too many people are living at the mercy of how they feel. They act only when it's easy. They move only when they're inspired. They quit when it gets hard. But if you want to rule your mind, if you want to build a life that reflects strength, purpose, and vision, you must train yourself to act regardless of how you feel. That's the essence of mental mastery. You do what's necessary, not what's convenient. You get up early, not because you feel like it, but because your goals matter. You say no to distractions, not because it's easy, but because your future demands focus. You speak up, take risks, show up, because you've made a decision to grow, and no emotion will be allowed to interfere. Understand this truth. Your emotions are messengers, not masters. They can alert you, signal you, and guide you, but they should never control you. When fear knocks, you don't run, you breathe through it. When doubt rises, you don't retreat, you refocus. When sadness lingers, you don't collapse, you keep walking with it. Discipline is not about suppressing emotions. It's about moving forward in spite of them. It's about staying committed even on the days your mind is clouded and your heart is heavy. And the only way to develop this kind of discipline is through repetition. Discipline is a muscle. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you strengthen it. Every time you do the work when you don't want to, you become more powerful. And eventually, your discipline becomes stronger than your excuses. The mastered mind is not perfect. It gets tired, it gets tempted, it gets frustrated, but it doesn't surrender. It knows how to realign. It knows how to shift from reaction to response. It knows how to pause, recenter, and proceed with purpose. Think of the warriors, the athletes, the leaders who have done the impossible. Do you think they always felt ready? No. They just learned to act anyway. They learned that discipline is a form of self-respect, and so must you. Every time you delay your dreams for temporary comfort, you betray yourself. Every time you choose ease over effort, you step further away from the life you could live. But when you live with discipline, you walk with power. You build trust with yourself, and that trust becomes unstoppable momentum. So the next time your emotions try to steer you off course, ask yourself, am I driven by feeling or by purpose? Am I reacting or responding? Am I acting like a victim or a leader of my own mind? Because in the end, discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from the limitations of your weaker self. Master the mind and you master your life. Let your discipline lead and your destiny will follow. Silence the noise. Listen to the voice within. In a world full of distractions, in a world that screams opinions, comparison, fear and doubt, your greatest challenge is not outside you, it's within. The mind, when untrained, is noisy. It repeats what the world tells you. It echoes fears that aren't yours. It clings to the past. It imagines the worst. But here's the truth. The most powerful voice you will ever hear is your own. Not the voice of your doubts, not the voice of your critics, not even the voice of your past mistakes, but the calm, clear voice of your highest self. That voice doesn't yell, it whispers, it guides, but you can only hear it when you silence the noise. You cannot master your mind if you're always feeding it chaos. You can't build clarity while scrolling endlessly through distractions. You can't find direction if you keep asking the world for permission. Mastery requires stillness, not laziness, stillness. It's in that stillness that you reflect, you evaluate, you recalibrate, you listen, not to the panic, but to the purpose within you. Make time for silence. Step away from the noise of the crowd. Put the phone down, turn the volume down, and ask yourself, who am I becoming? Is this thought serving me or sabotaging me? Is this emotion temporary or is it teaching me something deeper? The mind wants constant input, but power comes from mastering what you allow in. Feed it truth, not drama. Feed it hope, not fear. Feed it discipline, not distraction. You were not born to be a prisoner of your thoughts. You were not created to be a slave to every impulse, fear, or craving. You were born with power, but power without focus is wasted. Power without control is dangerous. Power without purpose is empty. So how do you master your mind? You practice presence, you breathe deeply, you journal your thoughts, you question every belief that limits you. You build a relationship with stillness. You no longer seek validation from outside. You know your worth internally. You trust your intuition. You lead yourself even when no one understands your journey. That is mastery. Not perfection, but presence. Not silence of thought, but awareness of thought. Not control over the world, but control over your inner world. When you silence the noise, you hear your mission, you see your path, and you move. Not out of pressure, but out of conviction. So listen, the world will always try to convince you of who you're not. But your soul already knows who you are. And your mind? It can either echo the world or amplify your soul. You choose. Master your mind or be ruled by it, because that's the ultimate truth of life. Either you train the mind or it trains you. Either you command your thoughts or become a servant to them. This is your time to rise. Quiet the noise, listen in, and lead yourself forward with intention, clarity, and power. Let's pause for a moment and reflect. Everything you've heard in this message, every truth, every challenge, every spark of motivation, it all comes down to this. You hold the keys, the quality of your life, the direction of your journey, and the magnitude of your success. It all begins and ends in the battlefield of the mind. If you don't master it, it will master you. Your mind can be a brilliant servant or a brutal master. It can open doors or lock you in cages built by fear, doubt, insecurity, and habit. So the question is, which path will you choose? You can no longer afford to let your mind drift aimlessly, allowing every fear to shape your choices, every doubt to dim your light, every distraction to derail your purpose. You were created for more. You were not born to live on autopilot. You were born to live on purpose. You were not meant to survive in survival mode. You were meant to thrive in intentionality. Mastering your mind is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision. Every day you must choose. Will I feed my strength or my excuses? Will I rise with discipline or give in to comfort? Will I follow my highest self or stay bound to my lowest thoughts? And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be aware. You just have to wake up. Because once you become aware, once you recognize that your thoughts are not facts, they're just mental programs you can rewrite, everything changes. You realize you are not your fear. You are not your past. You are not your doubt. You are not your procrastination. You are the thinker. You are the chooser. You are the leader. And when you step into that identity, you stop chasing change from the outside. You create transformation from the inside. Every master was once a student of their own mind. Every leader you admire, they had to fight the same voices. They had to overcome the same noise. And they did it. Not by being extraordinary, but by choosing to show up daily with focus, with discipline, with self-awareness. Now it's your turn. Master your mornings, master your emotions, master your focus, and slowly you will master your life. Because when you master the mind, you unlock the door to a future no one can take from you. Not failure, not rejection, not fear, not even the opinions of others. You become unshakable. You become unstoppable. You become who you were always meant to be. So don't wait. The moment is now. Start small. Stay consistent. Build that mental strength and watch how the world begins to respond to the new version of you. Because the mind is your weapon, your ally, your throne. Master it or be ruled by it. The choice is yours.